I thought I'd tell you a little story about this older poem of mine. Back in the day, probably the first open mic I ever went to was Yammer with Lisa Heminger, and she loved, admired Emily Dickinson. And she would have us sing
Because I could not
to the Yellow Rose of Texas, because I could not stop for death, because we stopped for me, and the whole thing, you can do that way. And so we all had to sing this, Emily Dickinson thing.
Garrison Keillor did a routine like that.
I know. Well, anyway. And in fact, when she came back into town, people here are copies of the poem so everybody can sing along with it because she's back around. But she at one point decided, what would I ever say to her? If I had a chance to actually see her or talk to her, what would I say? So she came up with this poem that was 2 minutes with Emily Dickinson. And it was timed that it would be exactly 2 minutes long if you read it. And she would do this every once in a while. And a couple of us had said, all right, we're going to do that. And I know Janet Marshall did 2 minutes with Annie Sandin. And I cannot remember what other ones did, but I said, I'm going to be the real, throw the monkey wrench into this, and I'm going to pick 2 minutes with Ayn Rand, who's not a poet. And so I did this one, and yes, it can be done in 2 minutes, but I'm not going to time it. I'm just going to read it. And I haven't read it so long, but this is 2 minutes with Ayn Rand. I don't believe in things that aren't proven, that we have no evidence of, but sometimes, I still think about what I would do if I had 2 minutes to talk to you. When somebody asked me what I would say, I said I'd rather hear you speak. I'm sure the words you would impart unto me would mean infinitely more than what I could say to you. And if I could talk to you, I wouldn't know what to say. But I know I'd have to tell you, like so many of your fans in the past, that I thank you for showing me that there are logical people in the world, that man can live by reason, that reason is a virtue, that selfishness is a virtue, that I have a right to what I earn, to what I create, to what I know to be true. I would have still been searching blindly for philosophical answers to the meaning of life if you never told me that I am worth something, that I am my own end. And it's nice to hear that even when I'm surrounded by these unthinking masses, that there are people who hold their minds at the highest value out there somewhere in the world. And the fact that they exist helps me through my days. But you knew that. You wrote about these heroes over the years, and how could you ever manage to write gripping, 1,000-page novels about heroes that a rational mind can't help but love? And did you really find that hero in real life? Because I'm still looking. You've created these heroes, but are they just created? Does anyone else understand these values as I do? Yes, thank you for giving me the answers I've been looking for, but tell me someone else out there found the answers too. So maybe, if those who pose this unreasonable, illogical, ethical question in the first place, if they could give me another 2 minutes so that you could do some of the talking, maybe then you could explain to me how to get through the days when nobody understands you, and how to accept less than perfection when you have seen the purity and the clarity of the thinking mind. Probably over 2 minutes. And I probably have